Guys, what's up? Welcome to the Onelife Podcast. Here with Micah. He's the guy who looks after me with the muscle therapy, with like body injuries, things like that.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
I know it's been a while coming. I know you're a busy guy. The thing I really admire about what you do is you run a business. Yeah, you got to make money, but your passion is what makes you do it.
Definitely, yes.
And on this podcast, we talk about chasing passion, not chasing money, one life, live it the way that you want to.
Oh,
You're the perfect example of this.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate
So
that.
there's so many things I want to touch on. What makes you passionate about helping other people? Give me more of a rundown exactly what you do and then why you do it.
So muscle therapy is not really a branch off, but I just call it from massage therapy. I call it muscle therapy because I don't rub you down. I don't relax you.
It's not pretty, is it?
It's not pretty at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty myself, but the techniques that go into it is not pretty.
It's functional and it does what it needs to do.
Practical. In
Practical.
the simplest form. There's some other great therapists out there that also fall in the line of muscle therapy that are able to do the relaxation, the rub downs, which I need that for myself. But what I love
You like
to
that for
do,
yourself, do you?
I do.
Do you really?
Only reason is because certain areas of my body, they're sore when you touch it. So I'm like, go light, please.
So you like the slow, soft, relaxing?
Yes.
That's interesting. I wouldn't have picked that.
My body is so it's so strung up right now from everything because I don't care for myself as much as I need to. Right?
I feel like doctors, nurses are the perfect example of that.
And we need to definitely take care of ourselves.
And also lead by example too.
Yes,
right?
exactly. Right now is definitely do as I say, not as I do. So forgive me, everyone. Forgive me, please. But yes, passion over everything because when I was in high school, and I remember my coaches, and I'm not putting you out past coaches, so this is not a hit on you guys, but when we all played sports before, the simplest thing, hey, don't bend over and breathe, stand up straight and breathe. Oh shit, sorry for swearing.
No, you can swear.
Oh shit, what did we found out a couple of years ago? Oh, our airways actually open up more when we bend over and put our hands on our knees to take in more air.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's just a natural thing.
It's a natural thing.
That makes sense.
And I'm like, okay, well, I literally made a post on my Instagram and it said, thank you, past coaches. You guys owe me a box of donuts now.
That's just, it's kind of like martial arts, the blind leading the blind. You get taught this. It's with anything in life, really.
Anything in life.
Unless you stop and critically think, research it yourself and challenge it, you end up just copying what your parents taught you. And your parents taught you that.
And going based off what you just said, is that I literally, and I won't mention any names, but I literally had people in the highest practice, doctors, telling me, no, you're right, you're on point. But they're not able to say that to their patients.
Yeah, because they don't want to challenge it. Because that's the thing, right? When you're in a high position, you kind of got to fit into the mold.
You have to be political about it. And to defend doctors and to defend the political side of it, it's because, yes, us as everyday humans don't take accountability for not doing our homework on things, right? We go to a doctor's office, say you're the doctor, I'm the patient. Hey, doc, my knee hurts. Can you tell me anything else? No, I can't figure it out. You're a doctor. That's wrong on society's part. Doctors are practicing physicians. They're forever practicing, learning, evolving. So do we. We need to keep up and do our own homework. Nobody's going to do it for us. So accountability on society's part.
But it's easier to point the finger.
Oh, so much easier.
Sit back and, I can't do this,
therefore. Of course.
And that's society today for the most part.
Yeah. And, instead of just me pointing fingers at society, let's take accountability. I understand why us as people are doing it. And a little bit about me, I've had ankle surgery that the surgeon did the wrong surgery from what the doctor wanted.
Oh.
And I refuse to go back under again.
Okay.
I don't like the feeling of anesthesia when you wake up. I don't like being constipated. I don't like not having my ankle mobilized. I don't like those things.
You know what, just a point on that. I had a guest on here, and he said top 4 killers in this country was heart disease, cancer, diabetes, malpractices. Number 4.
Yeah.
The wrong surgeries on the wrong people or the wrong things done to the right people. It's the 4th biggest killer in this country.
It's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, terrible.
You think for how modern we are and where we're at in life, that should not happen, full stop.
Well, let's go based on the modern thing. If people got to see the behind the scenes of surgery, it's kind of practical too. I've been fortunate enough to work in a hospital setting where I couldn't view the surgery up close, but I've seen what happens and I see what goes on as soon as they stop, they walk outside the surgical room. I see the things they need to do to prep, and I'm like, wow, for all this technology, we still doing the same things we've been doing for a little while now. Things have not changed.
Kind of like the classroom.
Yeah. Like to cut open skin, really sharp scalpel. It's sanitized, it's clean, no germs, the area is all prepped, great, but it's still a real simple thing if you think about it. And then when they open it up, our muscles and our bone structures have changed very little over the past couple hundred years.
Yeah.
So it stays the same. The human body is the same if you're born without any abnormalities, but the human body stays the same.
Okay.
So my passion goes into pretty much people in society that maybe don't have the privilege to explore those options due to financial reasons.
Okay,
right?
gotcha.
So it's like, hey, let me do what I can do to help you. Not every time is going to be a quick fix. Not every time is going to be a long, dragged out thing. What it is let's get you in. Let's take a look at you. I'll give you my honest opinion. And you can ask a lot of my clients that came to see me. I have no issue referring out if I don't know what I'm doing.
Which is so humble, and it's so admirable to do that. Yeah. And I do the same thing.
Yeah, I just think it's the right thing to do, right? Like,
and that'll come back too, right? That pays dividends.
If it does, it does. If it doesn't, hey, I'm happy knowing that I sent somebody where they need to go, not to fill my pockets.
Yeah, the money, right?
Yes,
yeah. Well, I mean, the reason I met you is from Michelle.
Right.
Because she couldn't do what I needed done. And then she's like, maybe you can.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
And it's great when you come across good people like that. There's so much good in the world. So much good. So much good. It's just people focus on the negative. Negative is 10 times louder. Gary Vee always says it, right? Negative is 10 times louder. Right.
We focus on what we don't have opposed to what we do have.
Exactly.
And I've been thinking about that a lot lately. I want to be here, I want to do that, but hey, I got a roof over my head, I got a car, I got a job, I got an income, I got my health.
I do that. I did that this morning. I was sitting at the table, I was drinking coffee, going over some finances, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need more. And I'm like, wait, hold on, I got a house. I got a running vehicle.
Coffee.
I'm drinking coffee.
Yeah.
I'm drinking coffee
Most
from
people
a
don't
machine.
have access to running water.
Exactly.
You're sitting there drinking coffee under a roof in comfortable clothes.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's hard to keep that perspective, and I feel like a lot of people have forgotten that.
And it's easy to forget it.
Well, especially when you're born in America or Australia.
Yes, of
because
course.
you never had any really a challenge.
Right. We are
even the worst people in America still got it better than 90% of the rest of the country.
Oh, of course.
Or the rest of the world, I should say.
Of course. I mean, the same thing that drives us is the same thing that's going to kill us. Double-edged sword every day. So it's just figuring out a way to make sure one end of the sword is a little bit duller every day, so we don't harm ourselves doing
I like that.
But yes.
So the thing with your type of massage is, like we said, it's not pretty. It's not from head to toe.
Yep.
It's like, it's nearly like you've got this sixth sense. You can, I don't know, I feel like you can feel it. Hey, I got a shoulder problem. You want to touch on that?
Okay, so I remember telling you, and for my clients out there that have gotten work from me,
you've said that before, haven't you?
I've said that it's like my fingertips are like cameras.
Yeah, and I've seen that firsthand.
And you've also seen me, I do this a lot whenever I'm working on a muscle, right? I'm working and I'm like, because this allows me to see beneath the skin. And then when I'm looking away, my brain is almost like, for those of you that seen the Iron Man movies, when Tony Stark is working with Jarvis to build the Iron Man suit. My brain works in a way where I can separate the different layers of muscles in the human body as if I were looking on a touch screen, and I could pick, pull, turn, twist.
That's interesting.
But that just goes on automatically in my brain as I'm working on you.
Have you done jiu-jitsu before?
So that's a great question. I can't stand jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
I hate jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
Because I hate jiu-jitsu with the highest form of respect and love.
Yeah.
Because jiu-jitsu breaks. I fix.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
I have jiu-jitsu. So I've had one of the, by far the best UFC champions ever, in my personal and humble opinion, and such a great man
that you've worked on.
That I've worked on. I traveled with. Max Holloway, love you, Max. Congratulations on everything that's going for you right now. Love you, brother. And I'm watching as he's rolling during training right before I work on him, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I can't stand jiu-jitsu. I couldn't figure out why. It doesn't interest me. It doesn't make me want to go, oh, that's cool. What it does, it frustrates me because you are doing everything to essentially break something, but I have to go fix it after. But then I'm slowly rewiring my brain to go, oh, I may have an advantage on this because I know how muscles work. I just have to reverse engineer that process.
The thing I wanted to touch on is jiu-jitsu, it's all feel. So if you can have your eyes shut and roll just as good as having your eyes open because it's all feel. So you're kind of doing the same thing when you're analyzing your body. You don't need to see what you're doing. You're feeling what you're doing.
Like the biggest blessing in this conversation is that you added another reason to me actually liking, taking a step closer to liking jiu-jitsu. Because I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I do help. I'm a little bit bigger of a person, so I do help some of my friends that do participate in jiu-jitsu. I help pretty much be a dummy for them and help fight back because I'm stronger, right? And I find myself doing exactly, I'm like, oh, I can look away and still be slip. Okay, the arm works this way. Oh, if I come up under, the shoulder girdle isn't supposed to go like that. Oh yeah, here we go.
It's interesting.
So that's very interesting.
Yeah.
I love that you brought that up.
So with like, I'll come to you and I'm like, I got a shoulder problem. And you're not starting my feet and working your way up. You're like, okay, this is where it's come from.
Yes.
Let's get in, let's fix this, and let's get out. And I've had so many massages I've been training weights for 25 years. I've had probably 50 different types of massages from different people. And you just get in, nail it, get out, and that's done.
Well, you can touch on this, that's why, right? Essentially, for somebody who's an entrepreneur and have a lot of projects going on, which you do, right? Time is money. Time is valuable. Time is family. Time is eating. Time is self-care. So why would I want to keep you longer than you have to be on the table?
So you're just getting the job done.
Let's just get it done and get back to our life, right? Now, some people, and this is why I say muscle therapy over massage therapy. Because you say massage therapy, people automatically assume I'm going to lay on this table for an hour. We're going to have soothing music, couple of candles, some oil. And the one that gets me all the time, and I'm sorry for anybody else that gets offended by this, is massage therapists with the little holster to hold their oil and their lotion pump. And I'm like, nah, that ain't me. Number one, I'm too fat to be wearing that. Number two, that just ain't me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't work.
But
like
I
that.
mean, it is what it is. Even as a photographer, I see photographers, they got the straps, they got the hooks, they got the belts, they got 3 cameras off the hill. I got this little thing in my hand, and that's how I do it.
And you work magic.
It just works for me.
Yes, and you work magic, and you're great at that. I say sorry because, yes, I do poke fun at them sometimes. But hey, it's all love, and it's just
I mean,
just
you're not dissing anybody. It's just this is the way you don't have to fit into the traditional masseuse or the traditional photographer.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm so far from the traditional photographer.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
Right? Even for me too. When I came to you for the first time, I didn't have sheets for the table. We cleaned the tables after. I have a bag at my massage table, linens, lotion. I don't even have oil. I just use lotion. Right, and my tools.
To me, it's getting the job done.
Yes,
I'd rather someone just get what needs to be done, opposed to all the fluff and the pretty. But other people are different. Other people are going to want the fluff and the pretty stuff.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
But they may not use you because of that. Of course. And you're okay with that.
Yeah, and I'm like, believe me, I've actually fell asleep working on people doing that before because I was just like, myself too. I'm like, wow, I cannot do this. And that's fine. I've gotten flack from it before. I've gotten a lot of negative remarks, and that's fine. You know, it is what it is, and we just move forward.
But you work for yourself, so you're in charge. And I mean, I knock clients back all the time, and I take clients I want to, and that's the beauty about working for yourself.
Of course, definitely.
My question is, so like most of us, we're eating too much junk, eating too much sugar, we're coming overweight, becoming unhealthier. What type of symptoms are you seeing in people that you treat that could be preventable? You know what I mean? Are you seeing what do you call the
the quads?
Now, what's the nerve from your butt? Yeah.
Oh, that's sciatic.
Sciatic. Are you seeing a lot of sciatic problems? Are you seeing back pain from carrying too much weight?
Great question. So there's a couple of different ways I categorize that. Sciatica is something that your physician just diagnoses and gives you muscle relaxers.
It's not doing anything, right? It's not. I wouldn't even say it's a mask. It's a very, very small mask.
Correct.
Yeah.
The thing with muscle relaxers too is that sometimes our bodies will reject it, and then it does nothing for us.
Okay.
Right. This whole notion of a quick fix. I always believe in the rule of 3. 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years. Those 3 days, you start a new exercise. It's going to take 3 weeks for you to implement it consistently. It's going to take 3 months for you to see results. Well, it's going to be 3 years before you can actually start teaching other people about it.
Oh, dude, I love that. That's cool. Where'd that come from?
I just seeing what goes on when I talk to people. Like,
I love that.
I have countless people asking me for advice. The funniest thing is people ask me for workout advice. And I'm like, but I'm fat. Why are you asking me for workout advice? Joe Rogan touched on that, right? He's like, I'm not taking health advice from Bill Gates.
I say it all the time. Yeah. I would never go to a fat person trainer or a broke financial planner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you're not living the life and being a role model that I want to be like.
Exactly. Now, the catch-22 is that person with a body, hopefully they have education and experience to back that up too. Now, I have education and experience. I just don't have the body I have now.
Right? Yeah, I feel like it's important to kind of have both.
So when people do talk to me, that's why I don't post it online. I don't share. Hey, if you're being vulnerable and having the courage to come and ask me, I'm going to give you all of my truth.
Yeah.
And my truth is that sciatica. Doctors diagnose, you take a pill, it's supposed to go away. It doesn't. The other thing is that sciatica is very, very tricky to diagnose.
Okay.
Because you could also have a piriformis problem. A piriformis is a butt muscle that runs on top. It's deeper in the buttocks underneath the glute maximus, but it's a muscle about that thick and about that long that runs from the bone, from the coccyx, sacrum area to the femur.
Okay.
And what that does is that it can just be super, super tight and it radiates pain almost the same as a sciatica.
Gotcha.
So when the average person, general public who's not educated in that manner, which we're not, we're told we're not supposed to be because it doesn't matter. That's not our field. Explains it to their PCP. The PCP is like, well, I guess it's sciatica.
What's PCP?
Primary care physician.
Okay.
Right?
Gotcha.
So it's like, oh, okay, well, they diagnose it, go off. Massage is ruled out because insurance won't necessarily cover it unless you find a therapist that accepts.
Okay, gotcha.
Right? So this whole notion of insurance in case something happens.
Do you find doctors too? Doctors are more like you're not necessarily prevention, but you are prevention.
Yes.
If something comes, you can get rid of it and take you back to square one.
Yes.
Whereas a doctor's more like take this pill, mask this, this is how you get rid of the pain. You're not ever actually fixing the base problem.
Correct. Yes. I aim to fix the issue. And that's a bad business plan because then I won't have any recurring clients.
But I mean, you also get the amazing word of mouth. You can tell everybody under the sun.
And that's what we're banking on.
Yeah.
And it's just like at the end of the day, knowing that I did the right thing. And if you feel like I helped, great, even better. I'm happy. You know how much people go to sleep in pain at night?
I would think it's pretty nuts.
You know how much people wake up in the morning and take 15 minutes to get out of bed because of ailments? It's so sad.
All day, every day, something niggly. And you can probably back this up. All the inflammation that we have in our bodies from poor diet and sugar is causing, I would say, majority of these problems, right?
If not all of them.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think people realize how bad inflammation is.
Yes.
And how easy it can be treated through fasting, cutting out sugar, cold therapy, massages. What else would you recommend?
Just movement in general. Because our bodies are not made to be stagnant. We're supposed to move. Right. My daughter is going to be two years old soon. And I've literally been fascinated and proving my points of babies have the best movement.
Oh, absolutely.
They don't understand fear.
Yeah.
They don't go, oh, that's not supposed to happen. They just do. And their bodies allow them to move the way they want them to. My daughter can go from sitting straight, bend both legs back, squeeze her knees real quick, and stand up.
That's insane.
And I'm like,
can you imagine you and I could still do that?
No, man, I would be so thrilled if I could do that.
I mean, how good would you feel?
The best I can do right now is a Turkish get up, essentially laying flat on my back to standing straight up without using my hands.
That's not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all.
That's not bad at all.
And that's my haha to everyone because I'm fat and I still can do that. So give me some time to get back, but I will get there. But for now, on the mobility part, yes, that.
So what comes to my mind is, like you said, like when you're young, you're moving, you're twisting. And then I think of my dad. My dad's the perfect example. You got this Australian guy, he's in his 70s, he's worked his whole life. He never moves. He never twists, he never bends. And he's not a big guy like me, but he's so locked up to a point where his tendon in his hand was coming through because he was so tight.
Yes.
His shoulders are like a bodybuilder because he's not like, I just turned 43. So I'm throwing my arms around, I'm twisting, I'm touching my toes, I'm reaching out, I'm hanging from bars. I'm trying to keep my body moving the way it's supposed to move.
Yes.
So it's able to continue to do that for the rest of my life.
Yes.
You think that's pretty important?
1,000%. When I get a chance to work on prenatal and postpartum mothers, right? One of the things I try to touch upon is that children, society always says that they're the future.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct. They're the future. Now, number one, we as parents need to remember to stay in our lanes. If you don't know anything about movement, workouts, healthy eating, don't push that on your kids. Learn with your kids. Learn how to do these things. So when I'm doing that, right, and I explain, I say, hey, kids are the best movers in the world. They can go barefoot. They don't know fear. They don't know pain. They're taught pain. So,
and restrictions on top of that, right?
The restrictions is what I'm getting to.
Okay.
Is that the first time a child hears no, don't do that, it's dangerous, you could get hurt, instantly a fraction of our natural athletic ability is restricted. Instantly.
You know what comes to my mind? I saw a TikTok yesterday, and it's this little 2-year-old girl. She kept climbing up the furniture. And rather than the parents stop doing that, they took her to a climbing gym and they encouraged it.
Yes.
And this little girl was ridiculous at climbing. So they didn't suppress it. They just guided it more in the right direction.
So they have great things. Amazon, you want to look up Montessori toys. Montessori, like the Montessori school, they have Montessori toys, gym equipment. They have,
oh really?
They have 6-month-old babies climbing up and over. And I'm like, whoa, yes, this is what we got to do. Because, right, as we get older, as gravity, as muscle mass, skeletal structure expands to fit our bodies, we need to keep moving like how we did when we were younger. I saw my nephew, he in the house, they had like bar stools, maybe about 4 feet high, right, to sit on. When he was about 2.5, he stacked, I think it was 4 of those bar stools in a row. And he climbed up and he ran across all 4. And his mom goes, "Oh my gosh, stop." I said, "Hey, you trust me, right?" And she's like, "Why?" "Don't tell him to stop. Let him go." But he could get hurt. Let's pause. But he could get hurt. Could. Didn't. We need to give our bodies, ourselves, our children more credit than we give them currently every day.
Yeah, I see what you're getting at. It's like an animal in the wild. It does things instinctually.
It does. It just
doesn't. No one's ever telling it not to.
Right.
And I think we forget where we came from and what we were able to do. And slowly over time, we sleep in a box bed. We get in a box car. We hop in a box. You know what I'm getting at, right?
These things on our feet are the things that made us less athletic.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So interesting.
Have you read Sapiens?
No, I haven't.
It's a book about human evolution and where we started and what different things have done to us, and talk about mix match diseases, things like shoes and glasses and things that we have brought upon ourselves because we changed the way that we're supposed to go. So wearing shoes called us flat feet. You're talking about not making you as athletic. So I mean, you look at Aboriginals; they don't wear shoes. Still don't wear shoes.
There's an unofficial world high jump record in a village in Africa where a 14-year-old boy broke it in barefoot in the dirt.
Well, another thing comes to mind, right, is I don't have the right shoes to be a good soccer player. And you look at most countries who are poor, who are lucky to have a soccer ball, they're playing barefoot in the dirt. And they're some of the best players in the world. Touching
on that, Donnie Thompson, who was a world record powerlifter, now he's doing a bunch of great things with other physical therapists to help bring out the more natural and what humans are supposed to do. Something as simple as this, right? And he got me on the whole foot thing. And there's a lot of information and a lot of people that are smarter than me and that specialize in this one thing, which is our feet. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this, I used to work at a hospital, and there would be homeless people coming in all the time, whether it's for shelter, food, treatment, whatever it is, right? And this homeless person left their cart and their wagon outside because they couldn't bring it in, obviously too much, not enough space, and it's unhygienic, right? So we're unsanitary, but the nurse told me, "Hey, please don't get rid of that cart. Like, they're gonna be here for a while. Can you just keep an eye on it?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course. Can I ask you why?" And they said, the second most important thing to a homeless person is their prized possessions, their belongings. That's all they have in this cart. The number one are their feet. Their feet are their Ferraris. And I was taken aback by that. And I'm like,
that's interesting.
What do you mean? Their feet are their Ferraris because that's the thing that gets them around.
It's the only thing that gets them around.
Only thing.
That's interesting.
And then I started to dive more. What is the first and last thing that touched the ground before you go to sleep and wake up?
Your feet.
Right? Shoes have made our toes scrunch together. Socks make our toes scrunch together. In the simplest form of less surface area, you can't generate force to move, to propel backwards or forward or up.
What do you think about those shoes which just basically cover the bottom of your feet, but they're supposed to feel like you're barefooted?
Great.
Better than shoes.
The sensation of Nothing will beat the sensation of the bottom of your feet hitting hard ground. That's our connection as humans to the earth in the spiritual realm, right? We have connection to the earth. Every single person came from someplace in this world. And then as time goes on, we colonize, we do all these other things, and we become countries, states, cities, right? But every single person came from someplace where they had to walk barefoot. And we had our deepest connection to the earth and understanding. So yes, it's great. It's better than wearing traditional shoes. The thing that we want to do is we want to open up our toes and optimize surface area for generation of force. Because remember, before, back in prehistoric days, whatever, when humans first came around, everything was with intent. Why did we go out to look for food, to hunt, to gather? Hunting, you have to propel. You have to essentially lunge to get to the animal or the food source that we need, whether it's climbing. So you look at tribes that are so disconnected from society. Their toes are out and they're nubby. Yeah, but they're so like strong. Another pair of hands, yes. Right? Yeah, and it's like, wow, which goes into the line of the whole apes thing. But getting back to Donnie Thompson, for football players, which I'm super passionate about, especially offensive linemen, what he did was he had all the offensive linemen of the teams he was working with cut the socks in their shoes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, and then to combat the smell, baby powder, Arm & Hammer. And what that does, it gives you more surface area to generate force.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Very interesting.
That's crazy. What other common things like the percentage on back pain in this country is insane, isn't it? Low back pain. Yes. Do you know the stat of that, or?
I don't know the statistics of that,
but it is really bad though.
It's bad because we have more people streaming. We have more people streaming video games because that's it. Desk jobs, computer jobs.
Okay, right? So being hunched over.
Anything to do of that sort, right? And what we do to combat that is core exercises.
You saying that's what we should be doing?
That's what we should be doing all the time. Core exercise. And core doesn't mean crunches. Core actually runs from, yes, your midsection that you see, all the way to your back.
Like the transverse.
Yes, right. So we need to engage all of those to keep our posture. But let's not say that rounding of the shoulders is always a bad thing. It's not. Sometimes we like to relax and do that. What it is that can we be in our most naturalist form in which we're comfortable, where we have zero pain, but we also have zero issue doing other tasks that's needed, right? Arms over your head, hanging, twisting, turning, getting out of bed, or even a better one. And I have this issue because I have 2 torn labrums that I refuse to get surgery on, but I've only gotten stronger in my upper body. Now, laying in bed, playing video games, my fingers go numb. So those are some corrective things that I need to do. Strengthen my back. We need to get stronger in general. As we get older, that whole, no, don't lift too heavy, just do some cardio. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. The grand number is 50. 50. 50. The reason for that?
50 what?
50 years in age. Once we hit that 50-year mark, 48 to 50, our body goes and starts deteriorating, our muscles. So what do we have to do? Use it or lose it.
Gotcha. Mentally and physically, right?
Mentally and physically. 45 years of age, start lifting heavy. Start. We're talking about 5x5s, 5 sets of 5 reps each. We're talking about heavy rack pulls, heavy squats, and heavy pertaining to what is considered for that person to be heavy.
That level,
Of course. Your heavy could be way more than my heavy.
Yeah.
No problem. But let's figure out what my heavy is and let's continue to work that.
I like what you said. It's like, use it or lose it. And that's what blows my mind is like, yes, there's so many people born with disabilities, missing limbs, things like that. And they're the ones who they would appreciate it so much more. Yes. And they're the ones that are born with perfect health, are eating ridiculous amount of sugar. They're overweight. They're abusing their body and they're taking it for granted until it's too late.
Yes.
They drop from a heart attack. They get diabetes. It's so scary. It's like I wish you could put someone else in someone else's shoes for a week.
Oh,
or a month. Or like, this is the way other people have it. Get your shit together.
Yes.
Appreciate your health.
Well, and that's why I never wear other people's shoes. I will never wear another human's shoes. I don't want to walk a mile in their feet at any point in time. I got to.
Don't you think a lot of people? Yeah, a lot of people need that.
I mean,
or
we do
live
it
in a
every
different
day.
country for a month. Like,
yes.
Realize how damn lucky you are.
Oh, very privileged, fortunate, lucky, whatever you want to call it, blessed. All those things. Yes, definitely. Every day we have the ability to make changes in our life, whether it's small or big. We have the ability. We just need to capitalize.
So I'm so happy. I posted a video this morning. It was just a picture of my black coffee. And I was literally just like, every decision takes you 2 different directions.
Right.
So here I'm drinking a black coffee with no calories. Yeah, I like my coffee. You can debate whether coffee's good or bad, but I like my coffee. Or I could have had a Frappuccino with 70 grams of sugar in it. That one decision will take me 2 different directions.
Oh, yes.
And then you got your next decision and your next decision. And it's only you and you only can make those changes, make those good or bad decisions to get to where you're trying to be. Whether that business, whether that relationship, whether that health, it's on you, right?
Yes.
And you can point the finger, you can make excuses, you can blame other people. But the sooner you take accountability for you in your own life, the sooner you make change.
Yes.
And you see it all the time, right? My parents didn't teach me that. I didn't know that. No one's ever told me that. Like, pull your head out of the sand and take accountability.
Well, my fiance says it all the time. Yes, unfortunately, we were not taught, but as adults now, we know better. We have the ability.
You're an adult.
We're an adult now.
We're accountability.
Accountable for what we, right? I don't pay my taxes. IRS comes after me. You don't wear a seatbelt while you're driving. You run the risk of getting a ticket.
And accountability as well, as you're a father, I'm a father. Accountability on what your children grow up to believe and the role model they see and what the good habits and the bad habits they do or don't develop is on us. Nobody else.
I'm so glad you brought that up because when I explain to my fiance about certain things on movement based on why kids do this, hey honey, chill out, let them go do that. It's dangerous. Yes, I know, but they'll figure it out, right? We're just gonna be there to pick them up when they fall. Hey, fall now, learn now. So down the road, you're like, been through that already. I understand. That's not the best way to go. Let's try to change some things. But especially with my kids, I am very, very particular about the information my kids absorb. And I got invited to talk back at my middle school. The very first thing I said, it was for career day, I got to talk and explain what I do. The very first thing I told those kids, those teenagers in that classroom that came to see me, I'm going to piss off your PE teachers right now. And the teacher who was hosting me at the time goes, that's interesting. I'm a PE teacher. And I looked at her and I said, well, get ready to get mad at me. And she's like, no, I'm ready to learn.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
okay,
even better. We got this. Let's go.
What do you touch on?
I touched on how don't be stretching before they warm up.
Okay.
And she's like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, don't be doing that.
So you mean don't stretch while cold?
Don't stretch
Just
while you're cold.
warm up.
Just warm up. Go.
That's all I do.
Our bodies can go from 0 to 100, naturally. Let's use that. They're like, oh, we're doing squats. Squats is only a leg exercise. Wrong. It's a full body exercise.
It's a full body exercise.
If you do it right.
Yeah.
Little side note, my traps used to be way more massive. And I hate deadlifting with a passion. I hate deadlifting. But my traps came big from squatting.
Interesting.
So when former powerlifter, used to compete, and what I was taught when I relearned how to squat is that they tell you to pull the bar into your back, essentially, right? There's a couple other variations on how that could be explained. And what it was for me, it's in a little bit more specific terms, I'm able to grip the bar, seal my lats, And what it does is that it creates a little pocket right beneath my traps. And my traps is stabilizing the bar for me.
Plus, you're making your body locked in one position.
Yes.
So it's easy to pick up someone stiff opposed to someone who's floppy, right?
Yes.
So you're making your body stiff like this one moving unit.
Yes. Controlling the least amount of extra movement there is, the more force you're able to generate because everything's controlled.
That's interesting. I remember I had a friend back in Australia and he was natural Mr. Olympia, under 21, top bodybuilder in the world.
Yes.
Amazing accomplishment. And he's like, when you bench press, drive your feet into the ground.
Yes.
That's where your power comes from. Don't be up on this toes crap. Like, get your feet flat, and that's where your power comes from.
And
it's crazy.
The bench press is the funniest thing. The way I was on my way to benching 600 pounds raw. Raw means
crazy.
No elbow straps, no bench shirt, no nothing. Literally, I had wrist wraps and a belt. And I benched once a week and did back 3 times a week.
Gotcha.
So my forearms were a lot bigger, right? And what that was from is that even if I had my 2 torn labrums, which I had at the time, my shoulders were fine. I could bench that. I think the most I ever did was 545. And that felt light, in fact, in my hands. It was amazing. And what I tell people all the time is that my biceps can't grow. They don't grow because of the way my labrums are. I can't do biceps. But my biceps, my forearms were the things that controlled the bar from moving too much. My back did 70% of the lifting on the bench.
Very interesting.
The bench actually, my chest only used probably, I use about anywhere 25, 30%, right? If we break it down in a general number sense, 70% back, 30% chest. And my chest literally only took over from here to here, which is chest and triceps too.
Interesting.
Very interesting. And I'm like, once I was taught how to bench, everything else was easy. Everything was so strict and together and just compacted, ready to go. I was wow, very interesting.
I want to touch on you work on some high status people around Las Vegas, like some of the Raiders players, like these professional athletes. What is the difference between working on people like that, the mindset, and what type of work are you doing on these people opposed to like the average Joe?
So I think one of the best things that I like to do is when I get high school kids and middle school kids that need to get worked on or want to get worked on. And I tell them, I said, you're laying on the same table as some of your favorite NFL players.
That's super cool.
And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, you're laying on the same table. And the only thing that changes is my pricing, because these athletes get paid significantly more than the general person, average person. So what I say to my NFL guys and we're just going to call them professional athletes because surfers, fighters, basketball players, football players,
with
right?
A ton of people.
Yeah. So what I tell all my professional athletes is that you guys pay this price so the kids can get a discount.
Okay, that's interesting.
A huge discount, right? And what we're doing is we're empowering the next generation of athletes to understand business.
Gotcha.
Now, in the NFL, there's a 21-point mobility scale that they do at the combines away from the cameras. And what that does, it tells the team doctors, team therapists, hey, these guys are going to play longer for you. They're more healthier in their body based on this 21-point scale.
Gotcha.
Now, we want that for the kids too, because past all the money they could be getting, past all the endorsement deals, my goal is to ensure that you, after you're done with your athletic career, you're going to show your grandkids why you were a badass. You're going to still run with them.
Gotcha.
You're still going to teach them how to move, how to do these things, and to literally show them, because the kids closest to us, my kids have no idea what I do. They see this giant of a person coming to the house, or we go to their house, and they're like, oh, cool. I need to literally tell them, no, these guys are playing on TV on Sunday. And they're like, I hate football. Cool. Thank you.
It's
Nice pull.
I've seen stuff with like celebrities, like movie stars, and their kids don't care.
Yes.
I think it's like Mark Wahlberg. He's like, my kids don't care who I am.
Exactly.
I'm just a dad to them.
Yes. To my kids are like, oh, well, my PE teacher said this, and their PE teacher is like, oh, he's the man. And I'm just sitting there scratching my head like, okay, whatever. Sounds great. I can do nothing but laugh.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
My son,
you're always going to be the dad.
My son, who's plays football, big kid, 6'5", 305, right? Big kid. And he's like, he couldn't get stronger for the longest time. He's a late bloomer as well, too. So couldn't get stronger for the longest time. Hey, power lifter, bench was through the roof. You know, we're doing a lot of things here. Oh, my dad don't know nothing. No problem. I had to step back and let him do his thing. And he finally started asking about 2 years ago.
That's interesting.
Finally. And I'm like, you know, my joke I used to tell a lot of people is I bench more than you squat. And I would tell my son that all the time. And I was like, you could take up all the reps you did in one day and add that up together per poundage, I'd still bench more than you. And he used to hate that from me. And I'm like, and he's like, oh yeah, well, you wasn't joking. I'm like, nope. But kids don't want to listen, and that's fine. That's the beauty of it.
So with your, like with the professional athletes, are they having this? Do they have the same type of injuries? Are you treating a similar type of thing, or is it just so different?
The best thing about professional athletes and general public, majority of general public, professional athletes listen.
Okay.
General public's a lot more skeptical.
Because they're getting paid to perform, and I guess if the general public was getting paid to perform, they'd probably take it a lot more serious.
Of course.
But they should be.
Well,
because it's going to change their lives.
This is what I tell my son, right? He's working to get to college. He's working to get that scholarship to play football at the next level.
Okay.
Which he's more than capable of. What I tell him is that take a scholarship. Let's take, we recently went to the University of Wyoming. On Google, it says price for tuition after aid, $11,000. So let's just say a scholarship is worth $11,000. I tell him, you break that down. The last 4 years of your life, every sprint, every touchdown, every block, every weight lifted has a price value.
I like that.
Right? Going into that scholarship, you get to the professional level, everything you did in college, high school, middle school has a price value. If you're signing a $125 million contract over 5 years, you get X amount per week getting paid. Divide that up. How many sprints did you do that week?
Yeah, what did it take you to get there?
Exactly.
And then what are you doing to stay there?
So now everything has a dollar value attached to it, and it's like, oh crap, it makes sense now. So professional players, it's the funniest thing because people think that when you train professional players, it's this high-tech thing that we got under cameras, under ultrasound light, under resistance bands, this new machine that they have. No, it's literally tweaking to perfect basic movements. They already are gifted in their ability to play this sport at the highest level. They don't need all that fancy stuff. They need to be retaught some little things to make them even greater. They're just a couple of things away from being fixed.
Interesting.
And it's crazy to see. Some of my players rarely drink alcohol, rarely go out. I had a player tell me, you will not find him in a club throwing money. He does not have any jewelry. He has a decent sized house. He has 2 vehicles. That's it. One of them is used. And he's a starter on the offensive side of the ball. And it's ridiculous. And I'm just like, wow, that's crazy. So
it's
simple,
rare though, right?
So easy.
Yeah.
And his training is ridiculously the same as a high school train. It's just he listened and we were able to get across to him on these are the little things you got to tweak. And that's what we work on.
That's funny. I had a client on, I had a guest on last night, and he's got a multi-million-dollar business, and he rocks up in an old beat-up truck.
Yes.
And he's bragging he's got 300,000 miles on the truck.
Yeah.
He understands what's important and what isn't. And it's cool to see a professional athlete doing the same thing.
Oh.
Because it's so easy to get caught up on what isn't important, because it's that the way you're seen, the interpretation of how you come across.
And then it's great because he carries himself very well. Very nice, very polite, very excited for everything that's around him and for other people. Never had a bad thing to say. On the field is a different story. He's an asshole. But outside,
Yeah, that's interesting.
wow.
Do you feel like there's how do I put this? Do you feel like too many people are focused on running faster, lifting heavier, things like that, and not on the recovery side? Stretching, massage, cold therapy, saunas, things that actually, what I'm getting at, I feel like most people are caught up that training longer and harder is better, where you've got the better understanding that recovery is where you grow and things change and you progress.
So what I'm about to say goes back to passion and not dollar figure. Hey, if you're doing that without any ailments and you are the happiest you've ever been, keep going. Don't even look my way.
Okay.
Keep going. Do your thing. I'm here if you need me. There's a lot of people like that can do that. There's a thing that I truly believe in, and it's so hard to teach because it's literally going to put me out of business, essentially. And it's called functional patterns. Functional patterns. It teaches you how to move again. And it's been proven there was one post he made, and he's a little out there guy. The body structure isn't the best, not the best muscle mass. Like, he's definitely no Jay Cutler, right?
Yeah.
And he looks like he doesn't have a lot of muscle, but moves effortlessly well. And I'm like, wow. And that functional patterns teaches people how to move again. Cured 14 years of scoliosis, no surgery.
Wow.
And this young female is running again, sprinting in way better form than some college sprinters run. And it's amazing. So what my general rule of thumb, hey, if you have some ailments, let's see if I can help you. If you don't, hey, keep going. I love it.
So you're saying if you go to the gym 7 days a week and you enjoy it and you're not getting injured and you're not trying to be Mr. Olympia, just keep doing what you want to do. But if you do want to be Mr. Olympia and you are suffering from injuries, you do need to maybe step back and focus on the recovery side.
Yes, we are trying to heal decades of years of traumatic experiences, lack of movement, lack of X, Y, and Z.
So if you're trying to progress, you're going to hit a barrier at some point, right?
Yes.
If you don't focus on the recovery in some way.
It goes hand in hand, but let's not say one is more important than the other. It's going to take turns on what is more important. So yes, even though the muscle therapy side of recovery, I also help people move differently.
Okay.
I am physically with these athletes in the gym, and I make a joke all the time. It's like, oh, this personal trainer, that personal trainer. It's like kind of funny if your personal trainer is asking a massage therapist for advice. And I'm like, very interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Very, very interesting. You might want to think about finding a different trainer.
But I know from being a personal trainer, I know masseuses learn so much more about the body than anybody else.
Well, and that's
besides
experience.
the doctor, I would say.
Yes, and that's experience, right?
Plus, you got hands-on all the time too.
Yes. So what I like to do, and the reason why I say that is because I've been pretty much degraded by personal trainers and like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like, I do definitely know more than your NASM certified training. Yeah. But, and there's other trainers that do have NASM, but have a shit ton of experience to back and actually value what I have to say. And that's actually how I got connected with my NFL athletes, is that I literally walked over to a trainer and I was like, I like what you're doing. I see what you're doing. I have nothing but love for what you're doing. Thank you for not being a generic personal trainer.
Gotcha.
Ever since that point, respected everything I said. And we agree on a lot of things, disagree on few, agree on a lot. But I am physically there with these athletes while they're doing their warm-ups. I was actually in charge of their warm-ups. So if the way you break it down, simplest form, coming to the gym, hey, you got this, this, and this because of what we've seen over the past and the initial assessment. Let me go work on that real quick. Then I'll go on the side. Let's go warm up so we can catch up to everybody else. And it's small training, like 2 to 3 people per group working out. And I'm with them while they're lifting. Hey, tighten up, tighten up. It's okay, let's adjust this a little bit, right? It's still a little sore here. Okay, well, we're not going to do the full movement. Instead of doing deadlifts, we're going to do rack pulls instead.
Okay.
And after that, we jump on the table and they get their treatment.
Gotcha.
So my job isn't only treatment. My job is to physically be there. You slacking off there in your warm-ups. What's going on? We had a party last night. Okay, well, it's going to suck for you today, but let's go. And then we get through the workout. We get on the table. They get their treatment. Do it all over again the next day.
What do you, as far as the general masses, just like a brief overview, as far as what exercise, movement, recovery on the way to longevity? So like you're 20, you're 30, you're 40, it doesn't really matter how old you are. What do you think most people should be doing? And is this on a daily basis? Is this a couple times a week?
Daily basis. Pending the weather, you get up, you use the bathroom. After you're done with that, go outside. Walk directly outside. If you can do it barefoot, great. If you gotta put shoes on, great.
So like the vitamin D.
Just go walk outside first thing you do in the morning.
Just move.
Just move.
And it doesn't need to be fancy.
Nope.
You're saying just a basic walk.
Literally.
Because a lot of people go through the day, they won't even go for any type of walk, right?
Yes,
besides to the car of their office.
Correct. So I was asked when I worked at the hospital, we were in leadership training because I was in management. And our CEO asked us, what do you do in the morning before you get to work? And he also followed up with, what do you do for yourself in the morning? Some people are like, I go to Starbucks.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm thinking 50 teaspoons of sugar.
Yep. I need that. I need that shot of coffee for my milk and sugar in the morning, you know? And he goes, okay, everybody put your head down. So, okay, so, put our head down. He goes, how many of you guys put yourself first before you get to work? Obviously, I raised my hand. He goes, okay, everybody up. He looks at me, he goes, why'd you raise your hand? And I told him, I was like, oh, like I was taken aback. I'm like, oh, he's like, you're the only ones that raise your hand. Why did you raise your hand? And I said, well, I care about myself before I care about any one of you guys in this room. And he's like, please explain. And I said, first thing when I wake up in the morning, I take care of myself. If I don't take care of myself, none of you guys are getting the best version of me.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't help yourself, you can't help someone else,
exactly, right?
It's kind of like in a plane. They say, like, put the mask on first.
That's where I got it from.
Yeah.
I literally looked up and I told everybody, I was like, sorry for swearing, but fuck all of you guys. If I can't take care of myself first, you guys are not worth it to me. And they didn't like that at all, but I'm like, it's the truth. And that's why I didn't fit well there, right? Is because everybody there was like, oh, we got to put the company first. We make $20 an hour. That ain't getting us nowhere.
Any job is you know the acronym for job?
No.
Job, just over broke.
Yes.
You got a job, you're just over broke.
And that's the most funniest thing, because I tell my kids this. We have this half an hour rule with our cell phones in the morning. Can't look at your cell phones for half an hour before you wake up. And
which is amazing.
They asked why, and I said, I refuse to tell anybody outside of this house good morning. I refuse to give anybody else attention outside of this house before I give my family attention. Half an hour. It's not that much to ask.
That's interesting.
And I'm huge on my phone. You're huge on your phone. Like, we use it all day. My life doesn't run without my cell phone.
I can definitely say proudly it's 90% creating content, helping other people.
Yes.
And it's not just consuming.
Oh.
But I know the average person is 3 to 6 hours a day just consuming.
I'm so sorry. I'm opposite at the moment. I'm consuming like
Are you
crazy.
Really? You consuming this content, though. I'll give you that.
Oh, yeah.
At least you get
a lot of
value
it
out
is yours. A lot of it is yours. Very valuable.
At least you get value.
Yes, yes.
So you're talking about getting out, going for a walk. What else do you think is important as far as like, so I'm a big believer that we're living longer, but our quality of life sucks.
Yes.
And I feel like it's one thing to live to like you're 100, but to have the quality of life to your 100 and not the last 10, 15 years just waiting to die on your deathbed.
Yeah. Well,
so how do you keep the quality of life as you get older?
Have a lot of sex.
I guess that's a good way too.
Yeah. Right.
But with a poor diet leads to low testosterone,
Exactly.
which leads to impotence.
Yes,
which
of
leads
course.
to, and I don't think people realize that.
No, people don't.
Even just the sex drive itself.
The funniest thing is that if we break down what Viagra is, arginine. Microdosed arginine.
Really? Just an
hilarious.
arginine, from using arginine, the blood flow is incredible. Everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah. Yes. So quality of life, that walk will not only do physical good for you, mental and spiritual good, right? We get in touch with nature. When's the last time you touched a tree? When's the last time you touched a leaf? When's the last time you smelled the flowers? We go to Costco's, and our thing at Costco's with my daughter, my 2-year-old, right, is we always stop whenever we get to the flower section.
Oh, gotcha.
And she smells the flowers, and she touches it, and she smiles, and she's happy. 2 minutes it takes us to do that. So yes, if I gotta run to work late 2 minutes because my daughter wanted to smell the flowers, we're smelling the flowers. Okay. Quality of life is what we make it, but movement to get the blood glowing, blood flow. We get our brains going, our limbs are nice and healthy. So yes, the movement. And we're going to classify exercise, training, Pilates, whatever we want to call it. We're just going to throw it under movement.
Okay.
Right? Then the diet.
Something.
Yes. Then the diet, like you're saying. A lot of people are like, oh, I'd rather go put this sugar, but natural sugar is way better. Right? We could eat a fruit to get our sugars we need.
But you got the fiber, you're not absorbing the sugar.
All these little things that maybe general public doesn't fully understand. The other thing too, right, is that keeping good people around you.
Yeah, environmental being so important.
So when I used to hire at the hospital, because I was in charge of that too, all the notes they gave me to ask the questions to hire, I just put it on the side. I was like, tell me about the 3 to 5 people around you, closest to you. And people were stunned. They're like, what? I was like, yeah, give me 3 to 5 people that's closest to you and what they do. Those 3 to 5 people will tell me where you're at and where you're going in life.
Show me your friends, I'll show you your future.
Yes.
No, I'm a huge believer of that. And it's something I really try to keep in mind.
Oh.
And I saw a video the other day, and it's a guy I highly respect. And he's like, I got 3 close people. He goes, I'm happy. I could have 100, I could have 20, I could have none, but my life is happy the way it is.
Shoot, I'm getting married on the 22nd.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
25 people at our wedding.
I mean, there's something wrong with that, right?
Of those 25, 14 are children.
Really? And there's nothing wrong with that. But in society's expectation, you're not happy. You haven't got a lot of friends. You haven't this, you haven't that. But you've understood like what's actually truly important to you. And only you know that.
My ring doesn't value, the price of my ring doesn't value the price of my relationship. Simple things.
But we get, it's all this marketing, this perception. And
don't get it twisted, okay? The worst thing about myself and my fiance, I want to buy her a watch, beautiful watch. Rose gold is our color. Google rose gold watch. Oh my gosh, this is the one I want to get her. Click on it. And I'm just like, yeah, no, that ain't happening. I click on a Richard Mille. Beautiful watch. Starting price, $329,000.
Damn.
And I'm like, but I still would buy it if I had the money. I still would buy that thing. There's some vices I have and I can't get rid of, and I'm unapologetic about it.
Really?
Yes.
Sure.
But there's other things where I'm like, nah, I don't need it. I'm good.
My rule of thumb now, if I can't buy 10 of them, I can't buy one of them.
10x. That's the 5x Acon rule too.
Yeah, that's
right?
I learned it from somebody, and it's like, I want this, but if I can't, I just bought myself a guitar.
Yes.
Cost me $1,000 for electric guitar. Can I buy 10 of them? Yes.
Yep.
Therefore,
Yeah.
And I waited 6 to 10 months to play it every day before I proved to myself that I was committed enough to spend the money.
Hey,
and now I've played it 2 hours every day since I've had it. So I'm okay with it.
The greatest thing is you don't owe me that explanation. Thank you for explaining that to me. You don't owe that to me. But more importantly, I'm super happy for you. You could have told me you bought that thing for $10 and I would have been happy. I am happy for people, period. End of story.
It's like, I guess as I get older, it's like, do I need it or do I want it? And if I want it, I need to justify it somehow.
You know,
I won't just instantly buy stuff anymore.
I just came from a client that said the same thing. I had to justify why I had to pay $2,000 for a Christmas tree. And I looked at her and I said, you ain't got to justify shit. And she was like, I guess I don't. I can buy it.
But if you're broke and you're struggling, you're making those decisions, then you probably need to justify it to yourself because you're not making the right decisions.
Of course. I mean, I do that every day. We're not where we want to be, but I'm enjoying the process of getting there. And it's so much fun. And that's why this comes back to passion. I'm not going to make a lot of money what I'm doing because I want to do it for free one day. I want to make so much money where I can do this for free. And that's the biggest part about everything is I just want to do it because I love it. If you told me that I would get paid $0 for the crappiest football team in the country, I'd have to volunteer time, but don't worry about all your expenses are paid for. Great, sign me up. I'm going right now. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's just love and passion, right? I would help do everything. Warm-ups, workouts, breakdowns. And this is where my mind goes with sports. And this is why I love the muscle therapy and so much passion. I have guys that I work on that play a specific position for a specific sport. My treatments are geared toward that. I'm not going to work on you as if you're 6'9", 315 pounds. I'm not going to treat you like you're 5'11", 185 pounds. Big difference there. Big difference. Sport specific, position specific. General public, not active. We classify things and group things so we break down the way we do the treatment. It's just when we break it down and we get to the specifics, my mind goes deep into detail. That is, no amount of money could purchase that. And therefore, I just feel like sharing. We don't need to pay for it. It's we know all these things. I didn't invent the wheel. I'm just adding to it to make it better. I have no right to be charging people for knowledge that's been shared. And that's where passion. Unfortunately, I got to pay some bills. I got to buy some food. That's why we got to charge. But we're going to get to a point where I don't need to charge anybody.
I like that because any business I've ever done has started with passion. And then when I started getting paid for it, I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. This is something I would do for free.
Yes.
And now I'm getting paid for it.
And I think that's why we connected in the beginning, right? Because you're like, I could do this all day. This is where hobbies turn into passion. Passion turns into obsession.
Yeah. And then I had a motivational speech on the other day. You said passion will outweigh discipline. If you like discipline, passion will get you through.
Yes.
And through that passion, you can create discipline. And this is my 41st podcast, and every person who's come on here has been passionate first.
Yes.
And that's why they do what they did. They weren't doing it for the money. They're doing it for the passion. They're doing it to help other people. They're giving back. And by doing that and doing that in a good way, now they're making money.
Yeah, great. I just haven't found a way to... I always say if I had a money person working with me, it would be through the roof. I just don't want to think about that. I literally love waking up. I love people watching at Costco's and going, oh, that sucks. I wonder if they need help fixing that ankle, fixing that calf, fixing that limp. Oh, they're limping? Yeah, look at their shoes. The soles of their feet are worn out only on one side. Their skin is really dry. Oh, there's buildup in fluid in these areas. Oh, they have an issue much deeper than...
I see that with like people with the health, like people overweight or they got a limp, or you want to help so many people. But who am I to like step up and
that's always the
intervene?
biggest, the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
Hey, my name is da 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 da. I do this. I see you have these ailments. Can I help? People are like, hell no. Who the hell are you?
Especially when you see someone your own age. Like, so there was someone, I'm not going to mention who it was, but I came across someone who was the same age as me. And it was like, I'm 42, you're 42, and you look like you were 60. 60 plus,
and you look the greatest ever.
Like probably in my 30s, and it was just like it blew my mind. We grew up the same, and those little decisions will take you this way. It will take you this way. And for me, being like started lifting weights when I was 17, I'm now 43, so it's 25 years of lifting weights, but it's also 25 years of making the right decisions and having a more of a positive balance over the negative balance.
Was that something you needed to learn, or you always had that in you? The positive balance.
It was more just, hey, if I'm going to go out and party, it's tonight, and my other friends would drag it out over 3 days.
Yep.
But for me, I'm not going to do it 3 days because I want to go to the gym tomorrow. So it was always having good habits, which would outweigh me falling off track.
Yes.
So no, what I did, I always came back on track, whereas a lot of people didn't do that. And what I realized now at my age, when I look at people I grew up with and people around me who look like they're 50 and I still look like I'm in my 30s, I'm like, you don't really think about it at the time, but after 20 years, you're like, oh my God, all those little decisions over this long period of time have taken me here. And it could be here.
Do you still drink normally, regularly?
Like alcohol?
Yeah.
No, not anymore.
At what age, and I'll tell you the age that I stopped and slowed down significantly. What age did you slow down for?
Mine's probably about 5-6 years. I just lost interest in it. I'm a happy person, and I like what I do for a living, and I don't need to escape anything. And when that came across, I just stopped.
Mine was about 24, I realized. 25.
So you're super young.
I slowed down.
So I didn't start drinking until I was 23, 24.
Oh, okay. Well, I started drinking when I was 16. So.
Yeah, I started very late compared to most people.
26, 27, I stopped. 28 completely. I remember my friends took me out for my 29th birthday. And they're like, where do you want to go? I was like, home. And they're like, wait, what? I was like, yeah, I don't want to drink. No, why not? I don't want to drink. I was like, why not? Well, I got gym at 5:30 in the morning. Now I have to push back so I can get some sleep. I don't want to feel like crap when I get to the gym. I want my food to taste good in the morning. And I just didn't have an itch or a want or a need.
There's just no urge to do it, right?
Yeah, zero.
It's not right or wrong. It's just you personally. And also, it's like for me, I just personally do not have an urge to.
Yeah, I had so much more to do the next day, and I'm like, I can't. Like, I got stuff to do. And it's funny because I should have kept drinking, because I actually spend more money being sober when I'm out, because this is me. You're like, hey, Mike, let's go out. Let's go drink. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I just say yes to say yes. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, let's go. I don't feel like drinking. I'll be right back. So I'll pay to get in. I'll pay to do all of that. But I'll be right back. I'll go run and grab food 3-4 times out of the night and come back.
Gotcha.
And then I'm like, oh, let's go do this. And I have way more energy to do stuff because I'm not drinking. And I'm just like, let's go do this instead. So a night out of drinking would cost $200 to $300, maybe $4. Turns into $500, $600, $700 of spending because I'm all over the place wanting to do so much because I'm sober, and I'm way more happy and fun sober.
It's funny, we're all different. Like, I can honestly say I've never smoked a cigarette or smoked weed in my life. And at my age, and people think that's crazy, or they have trouble believing it. And it's like, I've just never had the urge to do it. I don't give in to peer pressure. I don't care if you think it's cool or not. I just live me for me. And I think that's very rare. I feel like a lot of people do things because that's what's expected, that's what's cool. And I've always just stayed true to myself. And I never will. I know for a fact in my entire life I'll never do either one of them. So, I mean, nothing against anyone who does, but it's just self-awareness. Like, do I want to do this for me? Yes or no? And you're in charge of that.
I avid marijuana lover.
And there's nothing wrong there, right?
Nothing wrong. The only wrong part is when I get the munchies at 1 o'clock in the morning, and
Or
I
it affects,
devour everything.
for some reason, you start getting lazy and it's got negative consequences.
Of course.
But there's a lot of successful people who do it daily, and it doesn't. If anything, it helps the business.
What Rogan said, he smokes
Joe Rogan's a perfect example.
Yeah, Joe Rogan, he said he smokes about a joint a day.
I mean, he's kicking ass on so many different things.
High-level martial arts.
Mm.
Great commentator, supposedly great person.
He seems like a good person. Yeah.
I'm sorry, like my throat is killing me right now. I'm so sorry. Damn allergies, like
I did that. I started a podcast once, and I got a cough in my throat, like right at the start. And I'm trying to host this podcast. I'm like,
oh my god,
just dying on camera.
So but sorry, so take 2 for all of this. But it's awareness, and that's funny you bring that up, because awareness is the capitalizer of everything. It's so crazy what awareness does for you, right? Whether you have obligations to meet, but once you said the marijuana thing about some people get lazy when it becomes bad, Nipsey Hussle, same thing. I remember watching one of his interviews, and he said, I had to stop smoking weed. And the interview's like, why? Like, you seem to function fine. He's like, I didn't want anybody in my meetings thinking that I'm high. And that sometimes when I smoke too much, because it's hard to determine when enough is enough, but I don't want to feel lazy. I want to be in my right space of mind, because marijuana is the thing that allows me to escape reality and relax. We're not trying to be relaxed. We're on point. We're on game right now. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.